What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Wit. So in today's video, we're actually going to get into a full in-depth review of this Godox V100 that I recently had the luxury and the privilege of adding to my collection. So I've tried it out a few times, and today I just want to tell y'all about it. So we're going to go through it real quick. We're going to do a real quick review. I'm going to let y'all know what I think about it in comparison to the predecessor, which would be the V1 S. And I'm just gonna really, let y'all know what I think. But before we get into the video, please make sure you subscribe to the channel down below. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can be notified of future drops. And shit, let's jump right in. So first and foremost, I'm gonna turn this on. Now, one thing I do appreciate about this is the touch screen on the V100. To turn it on, just to make sure the flash doesn't get accidentally turned on while it's inside a bag or what have you. When you hit the power button, it's going to ask you to rotate the screen or dial to unlock. So we're going to rotate that a few times. And as you can see, there's the screen right there in front of you. Now, the reason why I like this flash so much is because of its touch screen capability. You see how easy it is to switch between power modes? I think that's really dope. Also, it's very easy to switch from manual to TTL mode. I also think that's really dope. And then you can also switch between auto mode, which is what it comes in by default, or you can change your zoom mode to any of these different features right here. So we're going to go back. And then last but not least, this is the sub flash mode, and I'll get into what the sub flash is in just a second. So as you can see, I just have it on 1/256. It's not like I'm about to go shoot with this thing, but that's what I have it on right now. But let me show you guys something. If you swipe down, there are several different options that you can activate. The first being high-speed sync. Now, depending on the kind of model that you have or the kind of camera that you have, this flash is going to come with several options at that sync button. So since I have a Sony, I only get the option of using high-speed sync or not using it. But I know that other camera models, they can use like rear sync or forward sync or what have you, but the Sony model doesn't do that. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it. It's just that's not been updated in the firmware for the kind of cameras that we have. Next, you can turn your autofocus on or off with just the click of a touch of the screen, rather, not even the click of a button. So I'm going to keep it on because I love autofocus. Then you have the beep. You can turn that on or off. So what the beep does is it just beeps when you fire off the flash. Watch. So that's all that does. I don't really like the beep. Sometimes the beep is too much, so I like to keep it off. And then you have your modeling lamp. You can turn the modeling lamp on or off. I have it on right now, so if you can see, the modeling lamp is actually on. You can take the flash off your camera and just use it as a standalone modeling lamp or light. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. As you can see, it's off. And we're going to come back down to the screen. The next thing you can do is lock the screen, just in case you want to save your settings and not push anything accidentally. If you want to unlock it, you can hold the screen for 2 seconds, or you can press and hold lock. You can press the center button for 2 seconds, and that will also unlock it as well. The next thing is the third mode. It's multi-mode. So this flash can either be a sender, it can be a receiver, or you can use it in multi-mode, depending on what the gig is. Now, I don't have all the accessories to properly demonstrate multi-mode, but just know it is a feature that you can have on this flash. I'm going to go ahead and turn that back off. Oh, another thing I want to show you, you can actually, for the modeling lamp right here, you can adjust the brightness on the modeling lamp, like the output. So I think that's something really cool, but we're going to turn that off for now. And as you can see, that kind of dims itself out. So we'll swipe back up. Now, one thing about it in TTL mode, as you can see, it's in TTL mode. You actually have exposure compensation that goes all the way up to 3. So you can actually adjust your exposure in TTL mode just a little bit. You can kind of tweak that. It also goes down to -3. So you could tweak it as much as you want. So we're going to put that back on 0. Now, typically I like to shoot in manual mode. So let's check out some other menus inside of here. If you swipe from right to left, you'll see the other modes. Now, the Y off, pretty much the Y off is like the standard mode that we're going to shoot in. I don't know why it's called Y off. It has nothing to do with Wi-Fi or internet or anything like that. That's just the standard manual mode. Then, as you can see right here, you have sender mode. Sender mode is pretty much where you can control other flashes and things like that. I don't really know the details of it because I've never used this flash as a sender. But you also have receiver mode, whereas you could use the flash as a receiver. And if you click that button, there's different groups and things that you can kind of go into and get into detail about. And I think that's pretty cool as well. But for right now, we're going to stay in Y off mode, which is the manual mode. Now, wireless is like, say if you want to, you know, connect to other flashes or things like that, you can find a channel and an ID and all these things. But if you hit the scan button, the V100 will scan for every possible channel in about 17 to 19 seconds it takes. And it's actually going to suggest a few different channels that you can use that have the least possibility for interruption. So if you need a channel for your flashes, as you can see these numbers on the screen, you can go to channel 31, 32, 29, 11, 1, 30, 28, 7, and what have you. If you just pick one of those, everything will automatically align. So I'm not going to pick any of these because they're just not important. I don't need to do that right now. And then in this menu button, you have different sub menu things. So basically like the settings as to how you want to read your flash. So you have the power type is 1/256. I like the fraction version opposed to the decimal version. Some people like the decimal version, but I'm going to keep it on the fraction part just because it's pretty good to be able to like read the fraction part of it. Photo cell, I'm going to keep that off. I don't exactly know what that's for, but I'm just going to keep it off. Metric system, feet, pretty self-explanatory. It all has to do with how you want to read the meter on the front of the that appears on the flash when you're in manual mode. Standby mode is on. I already have mine set to the auto off, which is going to be the next thing I discussed. My auto off is set to 60 minutes, which means after 60 minutes, it's automatically going to go off. And that is pretty much the highest setting on this flash that you can. Oh, I didn't even know you could do 90. I'm going to put mine on 90. Nah, I'm going to put it on 60 because why does it need to be on for an hour straight? That's insane, right? Like we don't want to kill the battery. So we'll keep it at 60. The model light, it's a continuous light. Now you also have an option to interrupt the modeling lamp. So basically what that does is when you fire off the flash with the modeling lamp on, it can either be a continuous modeling lamp or the modeling lamp will go off in order to allow the flash to reset. So right now I have it on continue, but it can also be set to interrupt, but I'm just going to leave it on continue for now. The screen standby is 3 minutes. You can also adjust your screen brightness right here. I think that's really cool. Now, if you'll notice, the backlight goes a little dim on this flash after a few seconds. Now, that's not something that you can change inside the flash or the flash menu. If you watch after about 20 seconds, the screen will dim. It's probably, see, there it goes. That's not something I can change. It is very annoying for purposes of this video. I really wish that, you know, the Sony version would come out with a firmware update addressing that. But for right now, it's just going to happen every 20 seconds. The new agreement, I'm going to keep that on. Don't really know the relevance of that. The language is English. You can only choose between 2 languages, English and Chinese. Obviously, mine is set to English. Then you have the device info. Everything's right here. It's the models, the V100 S. And so the factory reset is pretty much in case you get lost inside your flash and you just screwed up so bad that you don't know what to do or how to fix it. Just do a factory reset or a factory restore. And pretty much you'll be right back to all the default settings that the flash came with. And then you can just go and adjust everything however you want to adjust it. So we went through that menu. We went through this menu. We went through the modes. Pretty much now I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on because I haven't quite figured out how to get back to this screen once we are in the menus. So the metric system, as you can see, this right here across, as you can see, there's an M there instead of the feet. And so I just like to go by metrics because what it does is it shows you, you know, how close or how far away you have to be from your subject in order to get a certain level of exposure. Now, one of the cool things I like about this is, like I said, manual mode, TTL mode is all right there at just the touch of a button, man. Now, let me explain to y'all this sub flash and what this is. So the sub flash, I'm going to turn it on and it's at full power. Now, let me show you what the sub flash is real quick. I'm going to rotate the flash real quick so I can just show y'all what it is. So this right here is the sub flash. That's the actual real flash. But if you lift this up, this light right here is the sub flash. And you can even take this off. It detaches like so. You don't have to use it, or you can use it. And when you do use it, it provides a lot more light to whatever it is you're shooting. So I'm going to put it back on like so. But basically what it does is, if you have your subject in front of you and you just want to add a little bit more light, or, you know, maybe sometimes shooting with the round ball head, it might produce shadows underneath the subject's chin or whatever. This sub flash is going to give you way more light. And also when you're using the sub flash, you might want to have your ball head pointed upwards like so. As you can see, I have a bounce card attached to mine. So you might want to have it pointed upwards like so that it can bounce light to the front, so that your sub flash is not being blocked by your actual flash. So if you bend the ball head down like that, it's going to be in the way of the sub flash and you're going to get some really weird shadows. So you just want to make sure that when using the sub flash, your flash is not like that. It's actually straight up and down and not blocking the flash of the sub flash. So that's the sub flash right there. Now we're going to turn it back around and I'll show you some things that you could do with the sub flash. So if you see here, this is your sub flash over here. It's at full power, but you can adjust this all the way down to 1/128. That's how low the sub flash goes. Now keep in mind, the regular flash goes way lower than 1/128, but the sub flash only goes to 1/128. And so there's that. As you can see, the regular flash goes as low as 1/256, which I feel like it would be dope if it went all the way to 1/512, but we're not going to get into that. But yeah, so that's your sub flash. As far as the batteries go, now this is something that I didn't see addressed in any other video. A lot of people say, oh, the battery comes with a USB-C plug-in. And for the most part, the battery does come with it. So this is the battery that actually came with the flash. This is the one right here. This is a VB30. Now, the battery that's currently in the flash right now is not a VB30. It's a VB26B. The reason why that is because this one is not one that came with it. This is the one that I was using with my Godox V1 S. And so I had asked my salesperson, hey, do they use the same kind of batteries? And she told me no, because clearly you can see the two batteries are different names, VB30, VB26B. They look exactly identical with the exception of they're kind of a little bit like one is slightly bigger than the other one. But honestly, if you have a battery for your V1 S and you don't want to get rid of it, or you want extra batteries, by all means, you can in fact use the battery for your V1 S inside your V100. It fits perfectly. It snaps into place and it works just fine. And guess what? If you need to charge it, the V100 does come with a USB-C cable that you could just plug in right here and charge it with the battery inside the flash, and you can still use the flash while it's charging. So I think that's a really notable thing, something really, really cool. Now, let's just say you want to use the battery that came with the V100, totally fine. You insert that in here and voila, you know, you have your battery there. But then check it out. In case you need to charge that thing, turn it over on this side, and there you have your USB-C input that you can charge the battery with. So there's two places to charge this battery. You can charge it here, or you turn it around, you could charge it on this side as well. So I think that's really dope. Another thing that I want to show you guys is the rotation of the actual flash. Now let me zoom out a little bit and show you guys the rotation. So check this out. it rotates all the way to the front, like so, which is really cool. And then as far as the back goes, it rotates just about there. If you can see that, rotates just about there. However, if you do this and turn it all the way around, just turn it all. Well, you can't turn it all the way around that way, but maybe you got to go the other way. Voila. Now you turn it all the way around that way. Guess what? It rotates all the way back, just like that. So there are ways to, you know, position this thing however you want to position it. It's just up to you and however you want to do it. Depends on what you're shooting. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was something really cool that you guys might want to see. I would say compared to the Godox V1 S, this flash is the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, there's just so many cool things about this flash. One thing you'll notice, I guess a subtle difference, on the V1 S, the ready button illuminates green, but on the V100, it illuminates red. So when it's red, that's how you know it's ready to be fired. And so I think that's, you know, really cool. Something that I thought, oh, is there something wrong with it? No, there's nothing wrong with it. That's just the natural color of it all. Also, you have your icon indicator up here at the top. It'll tell you how full the battery is. It'll tell you whether or not your high-speed sync is on, which you can turn that on and off right here as I showed you guys. I always like to shoot with mine on. And it'll just tell you, you know, that it's ready to be fired or whatever. Before I go, there is another thing I want to tell you guys about. So check this out. So if you notice this, there's a red ring around this flash, right? There's a red ring. And also, even though this is the V100 S for Sony, let me show you something else. Check it out. You see how it says V100 SU? Well, that U stands for USA. And basically, there's a version of this flash that is, I guess, the European version. And then there's a version of it that's the US version. So if it has this red ring like that, like you see right here, if it has that, that's the USA version. And basically, that red ring, it doesn't have a magnetic feature in it that will allow you to attach a dome diffuser as easily. It doesn't have that. The reason why it doesn't have that is because Profoto actually sued Godox for copyright infringement or patent infringement or something like that. And so Godox had to do away with the magnetic feature inside of that little ring. So the V100 US version does not include the magnetic feature where you can attach a dome diffuser. Now, they do sell dome diffusers for this type of flash, but I'm assuming it attaches in a different way and not magnetically. But that was one of the things I noticed. I took the dome diffuser off of my V1 S to see if it would fit on here. And while it is the same size and circumference, there is no magnetic support. So that's one thing to notice. And also, if you look at the box, check it out. It has USA written on it right here, USA. Now, there are some places where you can actually buy this same exact flash, the V100, like Adorama, for example. They don't give a fuck about the lawsuit. They sell the V100 without the red stripe. It's just not there at all. And their ball head does have the magnetic attachments and it's for the exact same price. So if you don't want the red and you want the magnetic strip, by all means, you can go to Adorama and get this same flash without the red strip. Had I known that before buying it, I probably would have purchased mine off Adorama as well. But at the same time, red is my favorite color. So it's nothing, you know, I don't feel slighted or anything. I mean, it is what it is. I really love this flash so far. I've only had it for a day. I took it out yesterday when I first got home because I was anxious to shoot some pictures with it and the pictures came out amazing. And to be honest with you, I cannot wait to use this on some major gigs. I actually have a major gig coming up the first week in June and I can't wait to share it with y'all. But for now, you're just gonna have to stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the channel down below. Make sure you also click the notification bell so you can be notified of future video drops when they come out that you won't want to miss. I promise you, because I have something super major coming up in the near future. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. So make sure you hit that notification bell, subscribe to the channel down below, watch another video on the channel, stick around, look around, let me know what you think. Also, leave in the comments down below. Y'all let me know what you think about this flash. If you have it, what are some of your favorite things about it? If you don't have it, let me know why would you consider getting it. So anyway, that's the last thing I wanted to say. But like I say, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit the notification bell to stay notified on future drops. And as always, love y'all. Till next time, peace.